And we're live. Everybody, welcome back to Strongman Personal Finance. You know who I am. I don't have to introduce myself. And then I'm streaming today with Jay Noggy's chair. Jay Noggy's currently doing a side hustle down at you know where. Oh, there he is. Oh, he's back. Oh, never mind. Well, welcome everybody. We got a lot to talk about today. Lots to talk about. The first thing I want to talk about is Meet Kevin's hair. What is happening with his hair? Does anybody know? Like, why is his hair like a, 90s boy band, bright blonde? Let me see. Let me pull it up real quick. Is this some prank he lost? Meet Kevin. Jesus Christ. Oh, here we go. Let me share my screen real quick. If somebody knows why Kevin's hair is freaking have you seen this, Jay?
Oh, hold on, man. 1 second.
Jeez, like I thought this was like photoshopped in there, but no, that's actually his freaking hair. Oh God. Meet Spin Kevin. What are we gonna do with him? What are we gonna do? Oh, all right, so let's do some comments while we're waiting. Hello, my friends. What's up, bro? Jeremy saying he wants a one-on-one fight with Strongman and the Tesla while it's on auto drive. I'll do something else with Jeremy while the Tesla's on auto drive. Please do us a favor to update me, Kevin, profile pic in your vid. He ain't Super Saiyan in the old video. Yeah, maybe he's doing Super Saiyan. I don't know. My first live stream while at work. Make it a long one. I'm bored. Well, in that case, we're going to do extra short.
All right, guys, that was the podcast for today. We'll see you next week.
All right. Send me super chats, subscribe, send me all your money. Have a wonderful day. He's losing control of his life. Okay, anyway, we'll get to these comments later. They're all like welcome comments. So what's going on in your life, Jay? Tell me about your stock adventures.
None, dude. I was late getting here, man, because I went and looked at a cheap truck. It's like an S10 for like $5,000.
Oh, is your old car going bad or something, or what?
No, but I got a year and a half on this lease. But when I transfer the lease, I want to buy a vehicle at least a year out. That way I can iron out anything that needs to be updated with the vehicle, and I still have a reliable form of transportation.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, I actually have to get a new car too. Apparently, my wife's pregnant again, so we're gonna have to get a
dude.
Huh?
This quickly?
Yeah, I guess so. Oops.
Dude, you're shooting some winners there. The only thing that's still left in me is dried up dead sperm.
I know. I've seen it in person.
Dude, it's just years of like just alcohol abuse has sapped my nutsack of any live swimmers, man.
I mean, dude, I used to drink a lot back in the day. So, I mean, if I'm still good, you might be okay. You might surprise yourself.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm actually surprised at how much I'm enjoying not drinking.
Well, it's nice, to like not wake up wake up.
I got to quit smoking again. I started smoking this week, but now I got to quit this again. But whatever, go on.
Yeah, but it's just nice to feel good in the morning. Like I don't drink nearly as much as I used to after having the kid. Getting woken up all the time. It's nice. It's like you're more productive. You feel better.
But you know what the real thing was? Sleep. It's sleep. Like, I'm surprised, man. Like, I would get home when I was drinking during the week. I'd be like, I'm just going to watch a few more videos, right? Watch some gun video or whatever. Watch some crazy leftist talk about, the reconciliation package so I can try and understand what's going through these socialists' minds. But now I'm just like, 12:45, looks good. Might as well go to sleep for 9 hours before I got to get up.
I'm telling you, the way to do it, I always lay in bed at like 10:30 and I read. Well, I mean, and I used to take melatonin at 10. Now I have a kid.
I got something better for you. Melatonin's bad for males. It actually interferes in your testosterone production. I didn't know that till a sleep expert was on Rogan. What you want is magnesium L-threonate and theanine. You can get these supplements. You can get them on Amazon. This stuff, theanine, is what they put in energy drinks to calm you down. I'm telling you right now, these things are so much better than melatonin. And they don't interfere with your body's production of testosterone.
Well, why don't you buy me a pack as a gift?
Maybe I will. Well, yeah, fuck you. You get all the super chat money, even though it's like $5. You have more money than me.
I know. I got my $10 in super chats, man. And you when y'all see super chats, YouTube takes like 40% of those. So and then you got to pay taxes on top of that. So by the time you actually get anything left over, it's like 25%, 30% of what you received.
Dude, when I monetize, I'll do the super chats or whatever, but I'm just going to tell people, like, listen, if you have to understand that this is money that you would have spent on a movie, otherwise don't give it to me. But my model is to make money off merchandise. I don't like the fact that Yahoo's stepping in and saying, oh, we're going to take 40% of your money. And then on top of that, with the new communists in office, I might have to pay 40% on that money to the government. So I'm getting 20%. I realize it's free money.
Your income will be self-employment income. So your Social Security, Medicare taxes are double what they normally would be from work. So tutoring, like when I tutor, that's self-employment income. I YouTube, all of that gets taxed more heavily than the average worker. So, the YouTubers don't make as much as you think after taxes. That's what a lot of them don't talk about is taxes, which are freaking huge.
Well, that's like, I keep saying, people are getting it on my channel, even though it's small. Like, there is nothing better than when somebody goes, hey man, you changed my entire perspective on investing. Before I was buying a bunch of individual stocks and I don't know why. And now most of my money is in index funds in my tax advantaged account. I'm like, good. As Uncle Paul says, thank me in 20 years. Once all these hype YouTubers have died away and I have like a 80% accuracy on picking stocks because I don't have to buy anything, or I could just max my individual accounts. So, I mean, that's it. Yeah, but that's one of the things about that these YouTubers don't tell people is like, oh, I'm beating the market. Are you?
Well, I mean,
sometimes not when taxes are included, you're not.
Well, yeah, but you might beat the market for a year or two. There's always that possibility, but the longer the time horizon, the less likely you are. And then eventually you'll start underperforming massively. So there's always a chance. Like, even Jeremy's probably beaten the market a year or two, but there's also been times when he's underperformed, like this year. I think he's massively underperforming the market this year.
Well, he was saying, it was on his site, that he's achieved an 18% return over the past whatever bull market. And I'm like, yeah, cool. If you would have just bought the U.S. Growth Index Fund, it would have returned 18. In VGT, the Vanguard U.S. Growth, yeah, it's like 17 point something, or it was like 6 months ago when I looked.
He's saying 18 now because, like, when I called his little buddy, he was saying, "Oh, Jeremy's got 70% compounded over the last 3 years." So
no, this was 10 years out. Jeremy is saying the 70% compounded over the 3 years. It's like, I don't care about 3 years.
Yeah, like, you can buy a 10x stock. Like, if you bought Tesla in the 40s, post split, I guess you would think of it that way. And yeah, you would easily get 70% compounded because all you have to do is just point to that massive run up in Tesla when it went up like 700%, irrationally. And oh, look how smart I am because I speculated on Tesla and it went up. Like, they can claim that.
Yeah, with me, when somebody talks about their portfolio, I'm like, don't talk to me about your portfolio until it's 10 years old.
Dude, I know all these guys are full of crap. I'm like, dude, I've been investing in index funds it's not a long time, but 10 years, and I've done it consistently. And if you just focus on putting as much money as you can in there and just not paying a lot of fees and taxes, you're going to be really shocked how much money you're going to have saved in 10 years. And I got freaking I've lost like 50 grand.
Well, dude, you'd be really surprised at how much money you have if you had just like my initial investment, 25 grand in 2011. The initial is almost double in the past 10 years without adding anything to it. When you go back and you figure it out, that's not counting the money I've invested since then. But I mean, like, you would be surprised what that turns into if you just leave it alone and you don't do anything with it.
Savings rate. Like, even if you only get a boring 8%, which is basically doubling your money like every 10 years, which is still pretty cool.
8% is that's yeah. Like, my portfolio used to be set up. It rode for a long time. 50% in the Wellington account, which is a conservative account, and then 50% in the Vanguard Healthcare Fund, and that returned almost 13% over 10 years. I didn't do anything for it, and Wellington is extremely conservative, so it's like an 8% return. If over the course of my life I get an 8% return, I'm going to be quite happy.
And honestly, like, I'm saving I'm assuming I'm going to get a 4% return, a 5% return, because you never freaking know what's going to happen in the future. I mean, there's a lot of things that could potentially happen where growth isn't like it was over the last 10 or 20 years. So it's all about saving as much as you can. Prepare for the worst case.
I'm going to say this, and people might look at me ridiculously, but when I say this, but I am going to say this. I am confident that if I started investing at the same time Warren Buffett started investing, that I could have easily got a 12 to 15% return over that. I don't think I could have got what he got. He's smarter than me. But a 12 to 15% return is ridiculous. And that's because a lot of the time he was investing in America. And America was the sole manufacturing power in the world during that time. And I think anybody who applied a logical, thought-out process to buying stocks during that time could have achieved a 12 to 15% return.
I mean, a lot of value investors, they really are correct when they say that even like Wall Street people don't have the patience to buy and hold value stocks over the long run, because like they're kind of pressured to make money quickly. Because let's say you're running a mutual fund. If your mutual fund sucks for a year or two, you're potentially gonna lose a lot of people pulling money out of your fund, which is why they're always pressured not to buy long-term value stocks. They're pressured to buy stocks that'll potentially 2x in 3 years, which is freaking risky. That's why Wall Street sucks, but I do think the average investor can potentially beat the market as long as they're doing it inside their Roth, because then they're not paying the taxes.
Now, let me say this. In modern times, I don't think 12 to 15% is realistic. I think a really good investor will get about 10 or 11. I just think that a lot of things have changed. I just think that the market going forward is so overbought that you're looking at a minimum of 10 years before you even really begin to see positive returns. Like I like when people say expect like a negative 3% return for the next 10 years. Yeah, that makes sense with how overbought the S&P 500 is right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's my justification for international. I mean, obviously international does outperform, or it has in the past, but the more I look at the U.S. stock market, the more it's just concentrated in just a few stocks, the less I freaking want of it, which is why I'm glad VT has almost 50% international. It'll probably get bigger in the future.
Oh, I'm with you on that. Also, I really do want to increase my holdings of VYMI. I don't care what anybody says.
Monday morning. Do it.
Yeah, no, I know. But I don't care what anybody says. You're right. I think for the U.S., this is going to be an underperforming decade, and you're going to have to look elsewhere till earnings catch up. Even though U.S. companies are global, I just think that everything's overbought. Like you look at, I just watched Everything Money's take on Google. I'm about to do my own because I don't know that I agree with them that it's still even in a buy range. And that's a great company.
Well, yeah, I saw that too. It was like they had 15% revenue compounding going, 7 years into the future? I mean, it's possible, but
yeah,
that's 15% per year for 5-7 years for a big company. It's pretty freaking crazy. I mean, it's definitely possible because YouTube, Google, whatever, that can be a global thing. That's possible, but it's also a pretty steep assumption, for such a large company.
Well, I mean, it was like, did you watch my recent video on Baba? Did you watch that or no?
Which one?
The one that I put out last week. I want to say I put it out like last Monday.
I think I did, because you're like, everybody else is doing Baba content, so I'm going to do it or something like that.
Yeah. Well, and I revisited that, and I used the 5-year average, which for earnings per share, which is 5.14. That's why I have so much confidence in the model right now, because I was like, then I was sitting there messing with it, and I was like, yeah, I'm not seeing. Somebody said that they believe 3.9 trillion is realistic for Baba in 10 years. I don't believe that. I think you're looking at right around 1.5 to 2 trillion.
Even if it just goes to there, you still made bank.
Well, yeah, that means you're looking at like a $700 to $800 stock.
Yeah, and that's good enough for me. For an individual stock, it's probably one of the few ones that I truly believe in.
Well, my price point on that was like $223 for a 15% return. Or no, 10% return and $196 for actually like an 18% return. So I mean, that's like that I think is realistic for a large company. Google growing 15% for the next 7 years. And it's a little bit steep for me.
I mean, even if it does, the question always is, how much are people going to pay for the earnings? That's also a big part of it, because even if earnings do grow, if PE ratios shrink, the company is going to be way smaller in market cap, and that means the stock price is going to go down.
Well, that's why I was using a 15 price to earnings ratio at the end, like to actually figure it out and calculate it. Is I like to use the historic average. I don't know what it's going to be trading for it could be trading for PE ratio of 30. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about interest rates. I mean, if, the 10-year treasury rate goes up, which, I mean, it's got to someday, right? Maybe. If it ever does go up, stock PEs will go down. Stock prices will go down.
I think like the whole debt thing, because US is not the only country around the world that's doing it in just devaluing their currency and debasing it. I think within the next 20 years, there's going to have to be another Bretton Woods agreement. I think that's the only way out of this. I think every country around the world with an aging population is just saddled with legacy debt, Social Security. You go over to the UK, socialized healthcare. It's everywhere in the world. And China is hiding a massive debt problem. I'm just going to go out there and say it. The Evergrande, whatever the name of that company is, that's just the tip of the market. I was reading years ago about like a lot of the Chinese economy is hiding the amount of debt that is there. And it makes sense because you can't build 700 cities in 20 years without taking on a massive amount of debt.
Yeah, and there's some crazy stuff going on over there. Like I saw this video. I mean, I don't know if it's BS or not, but they literally like demolished massive amounts of they finished a bunch of apartments and they blew them all up because nobody was using them. It was just all these skyscrapers just crashing and crashing down that they demolished. It's like, holy crap. Like, y'all are just, there's a massive speculative craze going on over there with real estate. It kind of reminds me of the US, but almost worse.
To put it to you in perspective, I'm gonna butcher this, so somebody could look this up. I wish we had a young Jamie, or we could yell at Nate. Nate, Google this for us. Anyways, it's something like, I'm doing his podcast tomorrow. It's something like China poured the equivalent in concrete of what America did in the 20th century every year for the past 20 years. It's something ridiculous like that. So you can't tell me that these cities that they built have enough occupants. It's like you just, like, even though you have 1 billion people, you have more domiciles than people to occupy them.
I mean, it takes time to like urbanize people too, you know? Like you can't just like flock everybody into a city and everybody's got like their own skills and, you know, kind of like an American city.
Dude, the Rogan podcast with Ari Shaffir is priceless, where he's talking about China. And he goes, yeah, you'll just be walking around in a mall in China and some kid will just pull up his pants and take a crap on the floor. Because they're used to being out in like the sticks, where it's like, you know, man, if you're a country boy, like I've crapped in the woods before. Like I've been out like hiking in the woods and I'm like, man, I got to take a crap.
I don't believe that. I mean, like even if you're from the sticks, I mean, come on, if you're in the middle of a mall, do you think that some kid would actually just pull down his pants and take a dump in the middle of the mall?
Yes.
All those people watching.
Yes. I think that education hasn't really. You got to think, when you think of rural areas in America, you think of our level of education, which may not be the greatest in the world, but it's still actually pretty high level compared to a lot of these countries that are trying to industrialize.
Yeah, I guess you got to go there to see it to believe it, you know? I mean, even when I've been to like Asia, I've always gone to like developed countries. So, you know, I haven't seen like really. I mean, I guess like Afghanistan was probably the only place where I've really seen like almost Stone Age people. But even then, I didn't interact with them that much. So I didn't see any pooping in the streets.
Well, dude, if I go to China and I see a kid take a dump in the middle of the place, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to be like, well, when I get arrested, I saw that kid taking a crap. I thought it was part of the culture. Like, you mean to tell me that it's not? I had read in my history books that it's like a great compliment in China is to take a crap in your mall without going in one of the toilets.
You know, that could, you know, whenever you go visit there, just go ahead and do it. See what happens.
You'll never see me again. Like, they'll be like, yeah, we're going to beat this white boy to death. Yes, we're gonna do this guy North Korea style, like that one dude from Ohio that's the banner.
Van beer.
That's what, you know, that kid that went to North Korea and he ended up going into a coma because the guards beat him because he stole a banner. This is the thing that I always thought about that. I'm like, why would you go to North Korea?
That's a good question. You know, I didn't really think about that, but
yeah,
that is good. Why go to North Korea?
Jay, how did you avoid getting beaten to death over a banner? Just didn't go to North Korea, man. But no, yeah, I don't know, man. I think that everybody just better hunker down, because I don't think very many people are going to be bragging about their portfolio's returns for the next 10 years.
Well, we'll be bragging. You know why? Because we're going to be maxing our tax advantage accounts. So our wealth is still going to go up. Even if the market stays flat, if you're throwing in $30,000 a year, 401k, your IRA, your spouse's IRA, if you have one.
25 for me.
Yeah, you're still going to be freaking loaded. It doesn't matter. 25 grand a year. That's crazy. You know, I have such a long timeline before I want to see that money. I hope it goes down. It's like, how's your portfolio doing? It's been going down for the past 10 years. You suck at investing. Maybe, or it's cyclical and it'll come back and I spend a whole bunch of time buying up cheaper equities. I mean, like, I think about it this way. I just turned 32. I'm going to retire probably in my 60s. I've only lived half of my working life. So I don't give a crap what happens to stocks. Like I got 30 years before I'm even thinking about selling freaking stocks, and that's probably, it could be even longer because, I'll sell some of my stocks when I'm 60, but I'm going to sell some when I'm 70, when I'm 80, 90, if I live that long. You gotta think super long.
I was talking to this dude at work, right? And I'll just go and say he's retarded. This we've had a lot of issues with him. He's an overall good dude. Anyways, he's clueless about most things in life, and he was trying to ask me. He's like, "You gave Bruno investing advice." That's another guy I work with. I gave him the little book that beats the market, so he'd stop buying cannabis stocks. And for you guys are educated, of course, that you're watching, but here's the average person buying stocks right now. Me, Bruno, you need to sell your stocks in the cannabis companies. Well, why? Okay, why did you buy them? Because cannabis is going to be legal. I go, okay, so you looked at the cash flows? You looked at the financial statements? No. Okay. Yeah. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and sell all of those cannabis stocks, and you can read this book, the little book that beats the market. This guy was asking me for advice, and I said, bro, I can dig you out of your hole, but it's going to require work. So I figured it out for him. He's like 47. So that by the time he goes to retire at 67, I think I got him up to like 150, close to 200K. If he
retirement?
Yeah, if he really worked at it and sacrificed it, forget what numbers we were using.
Yeah.
He's not going to do it. But I said, if you don't think that can make a major effect on your retirement, I want you to say Social Security plus your pension, plus let's just say they pay a 2% dividend, there you go. There's an extra $4,000 a year in retirement if you just collect the dividends. And if you don't think that that's going to make a significant difference, it's a couple $100 a month in retirement. That's going to hugely help you.
Yeah, especially if your house is paid off and you have an extra couple $100, it's totally worth it to save. I mean, all you got to do to figure out how much you can generate from your portfolio is just take whatever the number you think you're going to have in whatever many years and divide it by 300. And that's how much you're going to generate per month from your portfolio. So, as long as you have enough to sustain your needs, you're good. I mean, that guy is kind of screwed in my opinion, but you probably want a little bit more, but I mean, it's better than nothing.
Bro, this is the best I can do with the mind I'm working with. I couldn't.
I would charge him, man. You know what? Like, if somebody wants to take my time and I have to build a financial plan for them, I'd freaking charge him. I'd charge him like $100.
If you seriously wanted me to sit down and plan everything out, yeah. But if you were like, what should I do? And you were fine with me just saying, buy the total world index fund inside of tax advantaged accounts, max them, and then just don't worry about it. You can buy me a beer when I decide to start drinking again. But, I mean, you got to understand, the guy I'm working with couldn't do the discounted cash, even though it's easy. He wouldn't be able. I don't think I could honestly teach him the discounted cash flow model.
I mean, it takes a little bit. I mean, it's not just like kindergarten level. Like, you have to understand the time value of money and, it may be some algebra, of course, but, for the average person, I don't think they can grasp it right off the bat. It's going to take a little bit of time. But so the discounted cash flow is more for people that like have a degree in finance or accounting or something like that, which is why even the average person with a college degree that hasn't majored in finance or accounting, even then, I don't think they should be buying individual stocks because a lot of them, I don't think will grasp the discounted cash flow. I mean, it's easy for you and me because we've done so much of it, but for a lot of people, it's not.
I'm of the school of thought that I don't really think that anybody outside of a few, because I mean, what it gets into is I don't have 8 hours a day to search through companies. So for me, it's best off instead of coming up with, okay, well, this month in my tax advantaged account, I can buy Intel because Intel looks like, I'm just throwing that out there as an example. Intel looks like an undervalued stock right now. So I'm just going to throw my money in my tax advantaged account at this. Oh, Intel's PE ratio is 25. It's too expensive. Now I got to find another stock. And even if you are into finance and accounting, like in your case, you're about to have a second kid. How much time do you really have to even sit around and think logically? You got enough time to look at maybe one or two stocks and be like, yeah, I'm going to add a small position in my portfolio to this. But the vast bulk of your money, I think, is still just best served in an S&P 500 fund, total world, total U.S. stock market. I mean, I'm to the point where I think you would be better off investing in an index fund that just bought European stocks, to be honest with you. Because
Europe's better than America, in my opinion, right now.
Yeah, but it just becomes a time thing, and then it becomes a time value of things. So if I could guarantee you, I said, hey, you'll match the market, which is better than what most people do. Or you can buy these individual stocks, but you're going to miss out on things like going to your kid's little league game, and you probably still won't beat the market. It becomes a thing of, again, exactly what you said, the time value of money. What am I doing with my money versus the reward I'm getting? It's probably more rewarding to watch your kid hit his first home run than it is to say, sit around running discounted cash flows and looking at financial statements. It's just the way I think about it. The index fund just gives you a better life. You're just like, all right, here it is, and I'm going to go to the beach.
Yeah, and people say index funds are boring, but I always tell myself every time I get paid from work, every 2 weeks, I know I've put $750 into my TSP, and I know I've got the 5% match, so I'm $120 something. So every 2 weeks, every time I get paid, I know I've put $800 something into my TSP. And then on top of that, every month, I know I'm putting $1,000 into my Roth and my wife's Roth. To me, that's exciting. It's like, oh, wow, I saved $3,000 this month, $4,000. I'm $4,000 richer now. You know, that's enough for me. But I guess a lot of people, like, they need more than that. Like, they want to see the stocks they buy 10x in like 2 days. I don't know why that's fun, especially if you lose all your freaking money, as opposed to knowing you're building massive wealth and doing it the right way. That's fun to me. But
I would only
preferences.
I would only ask that person that said index funds are boring, though. I go, okay, would you rather be rich and bored or poor and excited? I'd rather be rich and
excited, Jay.
YOLO. I'd rather be rich and bored. Here's why. Because I'm rich. I can do whatever the fuck I want. If I'm bored, I can unboard myself. Like, dude, I tried to be exciting with my savings, and I only saved $50,000 because I lost a bunch of money. Oh, that's cool. I got $4 million, and I was bored when I was doing it, but now I'm like going to just go travel to another country while you're eating cat food and jerking off truckers. So
I heard the cat food, the truckers coming in next.
So, I mean, there's that. The horror. My investing life was boring. Now I'm on a beach in Thailand. God, wish I had bought Tattooed Chef. Yeah. That was exciting.
Speaking of Tattooed Chef.
No, I needed a segue to bring you into that. So that's
we have to talk about Tattooed Nutsack. Okay. So I actually made a Beyond Meat video, and somebody said Beyond
Meat Spin.
No, it's like Beyond it's like Beyond Nutsack or something like that.
Dude. Woo. No, dude, the best video, the funniest video was you were crapping on Scribner, and then I was like, Scribner, that's when I was looking at his face on there. I go, Scribner can't even grow a convincing beard, and I'm supposed to take investment advice from him. Like,
He's
I
not even
can,
fat. Have you? I mean, like, not to be a fat shamer, but he's like a young man. You know what I'm saying? But he seems like his body seems like almost unnatural. He's like he has these big man tits. Have you noticed that?
he used to be fat. I guarantee you he was fat in high school, and not like the good type of fat. You know, like a dude like Kevin James, who's like, like a football player type fat. They got a belly, but they're athletic and quick and they're strong. That's good fat guy. That's big fat party animal guy territory. He may look like he's ain't got no cardio, but that dude will get down and he'll knock out like 7 jacked dudes, right? That's good fat boy. He's bad fat boy that's like skinny fat in high school. And you know how like you get like those guys, they get like the weird, like it's not even the normal bitch tits, but it's like a weird form of bitch tit that's like square. He's got like that type of bitch tit level. Like I just look at him and I'm like, you don't even have any, you're 20 something years old and you don't have any leanness in your arms. Like I go up to the villages and you'll see these old ladies where they get this fat hang. Scribner's got that. Like I could walk up and slap him and it would just jiggle everywhere.
I mean, like I hate to talk about it like body fat, but that's every time I watch one of his videos, that's the first thing I start thinking about is like his man tits and his freaking. You see, he got a tattoo as well. It's like some kind of tribal tattoo. You can barely see it under his shirt.
He got basic white boy tattoo. That's what that is. That's basic suburban white boy tattoo 101 right there.
Ryan, you can't pull off the bad boy look. I'm sorry. You're definitely not a bad boy.
Well, he doesn't even have any style. Like I look at him and he'd probably be confused. Oh, you wear a stupid taxi driver hat and Hawaiian shirts. Yep, and somehow I make it work. You could wear the same thing and it wouldn't work. So, I mean, it's like he's just got no style. Like I can imagine like in his thing, in his course, he said avoid booze. I mean, completely agree on the level that I've spent an absurd amount of money getting hammered in my life. But I mean, like all booze, like he seems like a dude who I'd be sitting there drinking a Guinness with and I'd be trying to say ridiculous stuff to make him laugh, but he would take it serious and then make the conversation serious. And then everybody would be looking at him at the bar like, dude, you're such a tool.
Yeah, I've never seen him. I don't even know if he has friends, man. He's a very odd man. Like, he's not as bad as the other YouTubers we always harp on, but especially with these new paid shill videos that he's coming out with, I'm definitely turning more against him. Like, it's starting to piss me off. Oh, they paid me, but I'm voicing my actual opinion here. I wouldn't, lie to you guys, even though they paid me. Like, I don't know.
I would not, like, I'll never get away with that if I'm approached, because I would be like, yeah, man, let me look at your stuff. I'd run the numbers and then I'd come back and be like, yeah, man, your company's drowning in debt and you're not profitable. I don't invest in profitable companies. So what are you trying to do here? Well, we'll pay you. Okay, well, even if I didn't have integrity, the smarter play is to not take your money and take your advice. The smarter play is to just give somebody good advice.
I mean, if one of those companies approached me, I'd be like, I mean, your CEO can come on, but I'm going to have like an honest conversation about how you're going to fix your freaking negative and increasingly negative cash flow and your share dilution. So, I mean, at that point, they probably wouldn't come on because, they want the fluff. But if they're willing to come on and talk to me about that, sure, I'll take their money and they can come talk to me. But I'm not going to just promote them and say, oh, you're going to buy the stock because they paid me.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know that I would take any money from any company, even if I believed in them. I don't. It's just too difficult. If I go on there and I say, hey, listen, this isn't me telling you to buy a stock. If somebody was dumb enough to just like make it 50% of their portfolio and it just didn't work out, I would still feel awful, even though I knew that person was an idiot. That's why I don't think that, like, as far as like, if my channel ever takes off, as far as like, if you come to me with a product, if I don't like your product, I'm not taking your money. I'm not taking money from anything that I wouldn't use in real life. That's just because, I mean, why? Like, it's the old model of advertising that whoever wanted to advertise, you just read, oh, this is the new super golden nut shaver razor. You know, like whatever it is, if I don't want to use it and I think your product's trash, I'm not going to endorse it.
Yeah, I mean, the only things I would ever like, I mean, if people approach me and I really believe in the product, sure, I'll have it on. I don't care. But it's going to be hard because I'm very strict in things that I like. You know, you got to be profitable. You got to be something that actually helps people. The vast majority of things on YouTube that are paid for are not that in any sense. So I'm not planning to make a lot of money or even any money from sponsorships. You know, it's more of like, okay, I'll get ad revenue. Maybe I'll sell some books, you know, whatever.
Well, dude, if Black Rifle Coffee approaches me and they're like, yeah, we'll pay you and we'll send you as much coffee as you want. Trust me, on my channel, I'll be like, and yeah, this discounted cash flow is brought to you by Black Rifle Coffee. You know,
it's not, I don't think it's immoral to promote companies if you believe in them, as long as you're not screwing your fans. That's the main thing that I want to impart on people. Whereas people like Ryan Scribner, like, holy crap, dude, this company is garbage, freaking garbage. And he's like, oh, I believe in it. I put my own money into it. Yeah, okay, Ryan. $1, maybe $2. You're full of crap.
I don't know what he knows, though. To be more,
I don't think he understands the like basic cash flow statements. I mean, he's got to be smart enough to at least know about that.
Do you think Jeremy does?
I mean, to be honest, I think Jeremy knows like the basics of how to read what he calls balance sheets. I don't think he's in any way a genius about it, but I think he understands it to a certain extent.
But he didn't understand discounted cash flows.
Well, yeah, but you can read an income statement or whatever, and still not understand discounted cash flows. You don't have to. I mean, in accounting, like you really like, for example, in my accounting degree, I did a little bit of discounting for like bonds, but the main emphasis was understanding and compiling financial statements. I didn't really have to know how to do free cash flow or any of that crap. I had to learn that, you know, outside my degree.
Okay, I see it, but it's just such a surprising gap that a guy that's been doing allegedly this for 10 years doesn't even know. You can't put this in a calculator and figure out how much it's worth.
Yep. Oh, we got a good comment right here. So Jeremy is strictly a castles in the air guy. So this is from a random walk down Wall Street by Burton Malkiel. There's two types of investors. There's people that build up castles or illusions in the air. If stocks can go here, and everybody buys them because they believe in the illusion. And then you have other people that are actually fundamental investors. So that's what he means by castles in the air.
I got to stop procrastinating. And I didn't feel well this week, so I didn't really do anything. I got to read this book.
It's dry. Honestly, I read the Cliff Notes. I was just like, oh.
Is it that bad?
I mean, dude, you're not. I don't think you're going to learn anything from it, to be perfectly honest.
I didn't learn anything from One Up on Wall Street, and I enjoyed that read.
You know, the only book that you're not going to, dude, I wouldn't even waste my time reading that. The only book that I learned something from is I
learned it while I was writing.
Stop. Yeah, I actually did have to go look up stuff. Like, I was like, long-term care. I was like, I know a little bit about that, you know. But when I wrote Stop Being a Broke Loser, I became a financial genius. That's why I'm the man I am today. So go buy my book. Anyway, I'm going to go grab some more beer. I'll be right back.
All right.
Can you keep the masses entertained?
Yeah. I guess. I'll read some comments, even though I can't. I love beer, not giving it up. Jay, if you quit for 2 months, I'll do it. But you first. Well, bro, I'm 3 weeks in. At this point, I haven't had a drink in 3 weeks. I'm not saying that I'm giving up alcohol. I just think it's good for you to dry out, and I haven't dried out in years. So that's why I'm doing it. And I was just like, I was getting hammered, man. I wasn't just drinking a couple of beers. I'd be like, yeah, I'm just going to sit here and drink 10 beers. And I'm like, what am I doing? This is stupid. Yeah, right? Dude, he did like, yeah, that's when I was watching that video and I was in shock when he called a discount. He goes, you can't put a stock into a calculator to figure out how much it's worth. And I was like, oh, this is disturbing. This guy is giving financial advice and he doesn't even understand a simple discounted cash flow. I mean, that's all you really need. Ryan Scribby is getting fat from very crap food company. Yeah, and I mean, dude, because that stuff is filled with soy. So what it does is it goes in and soy undercuts the amount your testosterone production, which then there's a reason why they call it soy boys. So, I mean, I don't know. Let me scroll up.
Did I hear soy boys?
Yeah, well, Julius Caesar said Ryan Scribby is getting fat from very crap food company. And I was just saying, it's because soy interferes with testosterone production.
So I've heard, but I actually have a confession. I drink soy milk. You want to know why? Because it doesn't go bad quickly, unlike normal milk.
Yeah, I'm not drinking that stuff.
You call me a soy boy, Jay?
A little bit. See, yeah, this is a good comment here. Also, got to constantly stay up with stock. Anything could change on a macro, micro level overnight, and you'll wake up broke if you don't know what you're doing. Yeah, it's 100%. And when I did the 3M discounted cash flow, I wouldn't buy 3M now. But 3M is a company that if they said, oh, you can only buy individual stocks and you're going away to an island for 20 years, 3M's probably going to be in my portfolio because I think they'll be here 100 years from now.
You wouldn't have Tattooed Chef in there?
Well, I mean, 90% Tattooed Chef.
Not 90% Tattooed Chef, 10% 3M.
10% 3M and maybe 40% Tesla.
Yeah. The Star Wars. So Chris Saint always says you have to have like rocks or foundations of your portfolio. And one of them is like Tesla. It's like, dude, really? Tesla is the rock and foundation of your portfolio? You really, really believe that?
I mean, he's not wrong if you said the rock of your portfolio should be X index fund.
Yeah, he was very far from saying the rock is an index fund. He said Tesla stock. So that just shows you how freaking idiotic these people are. Weak man, personal finance. Too wussy to day trade. Too genius to day trade. iPhone 24. You have 24 iPhones? You're probably freaking broke. All you do is spend your money on iPhones. I buy the stock. You buy the product, chump. Anyway. Chris doesn't know S. I can't say the bad word. Chris saying.
Yeah. I went through most of these bottom ones.
Okay.
I don't know if it's...
Yeah. I think we're done with comments for now. We can get back to the next subject. What do you want to talk about, Jay? TSLA. Tattooed nutsack.
This guy's saying Europe is mostly overvalued if you look closely. It might be. I haven't looked that close.
I mean, even if it is, it's still way better than the United States. I'll tell you that. U.S. is freaking nuts. So actually, not to bring up Lufufu again, but he was looking at, they're called Yardeni Research, and they were looking at forward PEs, which are estimates. But they were saying that the forward PE is 20. And Jeremy's like, oh, that's not super crazy. But if you think about it.
20 on what?
For the S&P 500, for large caps.
Okay.
But if the average is 15, you're still overvalued by 33% from the long-term historical average. So even if the forward PE doesn't seem too crazy high for the S&P 500 for large caps. It's still pretty freaking high, you know? So U.S. stocks really only have one way to go. I mean, they can go up for a little bit longer, but eventually they're going to return to their fundamental values. It's just a matter of time.
He can say that, but there's an actual chart out there. I don't know if you can look it up, but I forget. But it tells you the approximate return you're going to get from different PE ratios. And I believe a 20% return is like maybe 4 or 5%, if that. I don't even think it's that. Might be even as low as 3.
I think we're going to have negative returns. I mean,
yeah, I agree with you.
I think we will if you measure it at a point in time. If you're dollar cost averaging, let's say the market goes through a bear market for the next 3 years, but if you're dollar cost averaging, yeah, you're going to be fine. But if you go all in right now and then the market tanks, yeah, it might be like 10 freaking years before you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not worried. I'm not worried about buying my index funds in my tax advantage accounts right now. I'm not worried about any of that. I just think that a lot of people have an unrealistic idea because of what the stock market has recently done, that we're going to have this going forward into the future. And I mean, look, it took 15 years or more, 20 years to recover from the low of the Great Depression to it was pretty much like this, flat across for almost 20 years.
Yeah, that's the power of dollar cost averaging, ladies and gentlemen. This crap's so easy, it can put you to sleep. So easy.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the thing. If you don't, like, this is what I don't understand. I don't understand why anybody would just go onto YouTube, right, and be like, oh, let me listen to this random guy, okay? He's saying, the very good food company. Here, let me put my hard-earned money and future into this without doing any research of my own.
Well, I think a lot of people just, they have very basic level thinking when it comes to stocks. Or maybe they don't care about stocks at all, but maybe they have an interest in new and exciting futuristic companies like, Soy Boy Central or whatever you call it. And that's why they go watch the video, and that's all it takes to convince them to freaking, put a couple thousand in something stupid like the very good food company.
I agree, but I mean, I'm talking about if you just go on the Boglehead forums for an hour, you'll come out a better investor than like 99% of everybody walking around.
It's true. It's true.
Like, hey, so how'd you get so good at investing? Oh, I spent an hour on the Boglehead forums. So I got a bunch of index funds in there. Oh, did you know that index funds were overbought? Michael Burry said so.
Well, that's okay. And then the entire world is overbought. I mean, like, how can VT be like overbought? I don't understand that logic. I mean, I could see it with like the S&P 500. The largest stocks get the majority of the cash flows. Okay, I get that. But like the entire world is overbought because of index funds. I just don't believe it. And there's enough clowns trading out there, buying individual stocks, selling them, mutual funds, whatever, that there's not just this massive index bubble. I mean, it's possible if everybody indexed, then yeah, there would be a problem. But that's never going to be the case, ever.
But not everybody would ever index fund anyways. And here's the thing.
I mean, if it got so bad to where everybody was indexing, I probably would stop indexing.
That's what I'm saying. And then I would start buying individual stocks.
Yeah, 100%. Because if everybody indexed, it'd be like the largest companies consistently got money every 2 weeks. That's basically how it would work. And like everybody's just buying every 2 weeks. It'd be freaking ridiculous. There would be no, reaction to news like, oh, the company turns out there was fraud. Well, if everybody indexed, the stock price wouldn't move at all. It would just keep going up as people, kept buying in, which would be freaking crazy.
Yeah, but if there was fraud big enough to take them down, it wouldn't matter.
I mean, if it annihilated them, okay. But like if literally everybody indexed, you just keep buying everything. You don't trade. You don't sell stocks that you think are going bankrupt. You know what I'm saying? Like the only reason stocks move is because there's either index or selling for whatever reason, or because individual investors are selling.
Oh, I remembered what I was going to tell you. You were talking about like on Wall Street, how individual managers are disincentivized for certain stocks. Peter Lynch talks about that. He goes, basically, these guys in on Wall Street, they get a list of acceptable stocks. Like, so what he said is you're not really like looking in the haystack for that needle. It's just here because of exactly the problem that you said. The average person doesn't know enough. Whereas, like, if you or I walked in a room and a guy said, here's what I think is going to happen with company X. It's got increasing cash flows, done a discounted cash flow model. I've looked at this in several different ways. You're looking at an emerging industry. It's projected to do X. Like, if we walk in there and this guy talks about that like that to us and we go home and we do our own research, we wouldn't care if the stock dropped. I'd be like, oh, all right, well, this is just an opportunity to add a few more shares to my collection. But the average person, as soon as they see a stock drop, they're like, okay, they're calling their broker. What do we do? What do we do?
Yeah, so I went to an Edward Jones financial advisor. I mean, I wasn't going to go with them, but I wanted to see what they had to say. I was curious. The dude was talking about freaking workhorse stock. He's like, oh, yeah, man, I got my clients into that, and that's a good stock. I was like, that stock is the worst freaking stock. But he was probably pushing it because it probably, I think at that point, it was probably still in, that bull market. But now we all know it's freaking garbage.
Oh, I didn't know if you went there and you were like, yeah, man, but what are you basing this on?
No, I didn't go that crazy because, like, he probably would have, figured it out pretty quickly. I was trying to get as much information as possible. I was a spy.
Okay, I didn't know if you went with somebody.
Oh, dude, I know. If anybody has any doubt, I never use a financial advisor. Ever. Just max your tax advantage accounts and buy index funds, preferably VT. You don't need a financial advisor.
Well, dude, that's why it's like why, my parents, I was talking to my mom about this. She goes, well, Ronnie, my stepdad, he does a little bit of research because he likes to talk to the money manager about different index funds. And I go, the worst thing about this is that I could never convince these people that, I could never convince my mom and my stepdad that they don't need this guy. And if I was talking to my stepdad about this and he said, well, how do you think you'd do if you were in a room with that guy? I'd be like, I think I'd curb stomp him intellectually. That's what I think would happen. And I think it would happen relatively quick. But he would never believe me if I came out of there and I'm like, listen, look, here is just the simple facts. You don't need this guy's advice to put money into index funds. They'd be like, well, you don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, there's certain people that they fall for the suit. They fall for the hat trick, Oh, he's got a suit. That means he must be a very smart guy. It's like, come on. The guy doesn't know crap. He just puts a stupid suit on, and you're willing to give him your life savings and pay him hundreds of thousands of dollars. What is wrong with you? It pisses me off.
Well,
I intentionally dress like crap.
Well, they never took the time to learn this stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't take a lot. I mean, if you think about it, it's your financial future. Read a freaking book by Jack Bogle. How hard is it to read a freaking book for 2 hours, 3-4 hours about your future? That's all you got to do. Read the book, set up an automatic contribution to your tax advantage account, and then you can go do whatever you freaking want. You don't have to think about stocks ever again. It's that easy.
Well, the hard thing is for a parent to listen to their child and for their child to tell them, like, this guy's stolen hundreds of thousands of dollars from you too.
But he's in a suit.
Yeah.
You have a Hawaiian shirt. He has a suit.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much. I would love to.
That's how it is.
I would love to sit with him. I would love to sit with him when I was like, so you want 1% of my money and you told me to put my money in an index fund, because that's where most of their money is. But
he's charging for index funds.
my mom goes, he takes a very reasonable 1%. And I'm like,
It's actually 33% over your life, ladies and gentlemen. 33%, not 1%. It's compounding fees. Oh, hold on.
Well-
Hold on real quick. Round of applause. I'm proud of you, young man. If that's actually you, or it might be your kid. I don't know.
did you buy this book?
Did you buy this? See, I screwed you over like Meet Kevin. You know, this is basically just as bad as a grift as Meet Kevin's, what, $700 garbage stunk course?
Dude, if I was like extremely wealthy, I would take that course too and just give it away. But like $700 is too much money to me.
No, it's ridiculous. I mean, and for what he's I would pay somebody $700 if I didn't know anything about finance or investing or personal finance, and they built a massive or a complete plan for how I was going to prepare for my future financial goals. I think that's reasonable. Like if somebody gives me personal attention and helps me plan out my entire financial future. But to buy a freaking stock trading course that teaches you how to pay massive taxes and lose money, no, $700 is freaking ridiculous.
Well, yeah. And I mean, look, if somebody was like, I would take the money if somebody just really wanted me to do it, but I would feel guilty doing it. I would be like, bro, listen, the amount of time that it's going to take me to explain this to you is longer than the amount of time that you need to spend on the Boglehead forums.
I mean, honestly,
1 hour.
I think
1 hour.
Most people, I think, should have a financial advisor only if that financial advisor charges them an upfront one-time fee to build them a plan. I'm fine with that because they can fix their budget. They can get them the appropriate amount of insurance. They can get, their investments aligned. They can help prepare for their death, wills, all that crap. Like, I understand that. But that's not how the industry works. The industry sucks you in, and then they charge you 1% to 2% per year your entire life. So if you find somebody that actually will say, hey, you pay me $500, I'll build you a plan, and that's it. That's not bad, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I mean, how do I explain my family? My family doesn't want to hear anything when I tell them that they're wrong.
Then there's nothing you can do.
There is nothing I can do. This is a real discussion that my mom had with me. Jay, you need to be saving more cash. I know that you just put all your money into stocks. You need cash. I go, no, I don't. She goes, no, you need cash. I go, that's why I have a credit card for emergencies. She's like, Jay, cash is king. I go, no, Mom, cash is not king. Cash is subject to inflation, and it erodes every year. Jay, I don't want to hear any of that. You need more cash on hand.
I mean, how much cash is she talking about? Like, how much does she want you to have?
I don't know. She has ridiculous numbers in her head that I just tune out when she tells me, and I go, okay.
I mean, like, I've definitely reduced my cash position. About a year ago, I had like $50K sitting in a savings account. And that was a big part of it was because I was getting married. I was moving to a new house. There's a lot like up in the air. And then eventually I moved to the new house. Everything worked out. And I was like, okay, I had the kid. Okay, I don't need $50K. Like, that's a lot of freaking money in cash. I'm not against people having cash, like, a couple months of expenses. I have like $13K in cash. To me, that's enough. But
my goal is 10 G's.
Yeah, that's reasonable for a single guy. I mean, if you're married and you have kids, okay, maybe 15, 20, depending on your expenses. But you don't need 50K, 60K, 80K in cash. Like, that's freaking crazy. Unless you live in like a really high cost of living area.
Even then, man, I mean, look, I get it. I don't know. I mean, even if I would still end up probably putting the majority of an emergency on my credit card anyways.
Yeah, but then you have to pay interest.
You're paying, yeah. But I mean, in all honesty, if I really had to pay down $10,000 in debt with nothing in cash reserves. I could do it within 5 months right now.
Yeah, but wouldn't you be losing the opportunity cost of investing? Like
I would be. I'm not necessarily disagreeing with that. It's like, yeah, I get it. You say I need cash for an emergency. You're probably right, but I don't know. It's just more fun to me to see my retirement account going up than it is my actual bank account.
Yeah, I mean, in worst case, you can pull money out of your Roth IRA. You can take out the contributions. I'm not recommending that, but if that's like your last ditch effort, you can do that. But like,
well,
I cash like 10K, 12K, 15K, something like that.
I did that recently to pay down credit card debt. I took out 10K, but that's not out of my Roth. That was out of my just individual brokerage account.
Oh, that's smart. Yeah.
I was like, I got 10 grand. It was from multiple things. It was from 3,000 down for a lease, plumbers coming out here, just all these things that just added up to a worst case scenario where I was looking at my credit card debt and I'm like, 12 grand, dude. And then I was like, F this. I'm selling stocks.
Right. I would at least have like 10 or 12 grand. Like, it's not going to hurt you to have 10 or 12 grand. You know what I'm saying?
I know that. It's just the fact that my mom thinks cash is king. And I'm like, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, if you're like 100, like 90% cash, yeah, you're probably a maniac. But, you know, it doesn't hurt to have like 10 grand, 15 grand. I mean, you're not making money off of it, but it's there to protect you from your freaking roof dies or whatever, goes bad, whatever you call it. And that's it.
That's why, dude, look, we're entering a new era, and that's the era of, you know, climate change or whatever, I guess. If you listen to that one autistic girl from Sweden, and I'm like, and in my head, man, I always have this thought about autism. Like, autism now is like some sort of superpower. And like when I was growing up, autism was only one level above retarded. So all that being said, like I'm going down the rabbit hole on concrete dome homes, and they're like geothermal. And I'm like, dude, it's like $100K to set up one of those things. I never have to put on a roof. I realize no girl is going to want to sleep with me when I explain to her that I live in a concrete dome home. But I'm like, hey, man.
You'd be surprised. You might find some liberal girl that's like, oh, my God, that's so environmentally amazing. And then, you know, you get married and have 5 kids. I mean, it's possible.
And I'm like eating soy and I look like Ryan Scribner. My beard grows patchy because I don't have enough protein to grow in a fully operator seal beard.
It's like, Jay, you've really grown some man titties there. If I thought you were going soy, I would say something. I would confront you.
Well, dude, I remember, man, and this is just like off the subject. I remember, man, one of my buddies was making fun of me because I started losing my hair when I was young, and he was making fun of me, and dude couldn't grow a beard. And I just looked at him and I go, yeah, but I can grow a full beard. And he's like, yeah, but you don't have any hair on your head. I go, yeah, but I would rather be able to grow a full beard than have the like bitch ass scruff that grows in on your face. That's not manly at all, dude. I was looking at him and I was like, if I go deploy with Navy SEALs right now, in 4 months, Navy SEALs will be complimenting on me on my operator beard, dude, whether I can operate or not.
Yeah, I don't think I would be welcome. I actually can't grow a full beard. I have like these patches right here. I kind of look like Ryan Scribner, except a little bit sexier when I grow out my beard. So I'm one of those guys that's just maybe it's the soy milk that I have like once every 10 days.
Dude, when I let this grow, man, I can grow a full Kratos God of War beard.
Why don't you do that? Come on, man.
Because right now at work, I have to go into COVID rooms, talk to patients, and it would interfere with my mask fitting. So, like, you have to. So, you know, when you're out there, those little cheap surgical masks that you're wearing are nothing more than a virtue signal, and they do not stop the virus. And you can go on the FDA's website, and they tell you that. What you need.
YouTube's got to shut us down, Jay.
What you need. No, it's not, because I'm telling you what you actually really need. What you need is an N95 mask. And that will keep out. And you need to replace it once you use it every 8 hours. But if I grow out my beard, I can't get a proper seal. And so I'm fully vaccinated, but there's a guy at the hospital. I'm not going to go too far into detail, but he passed away. And like he wouldn't get vaccinated and he didn't think COVID was real. And I was like explaining to him, I was like, you're a nurse. I majored in finance. COVID is indeed real. This is why I wear this N95 mask when I go in to talk to that patient. Nah, man, COVID's not real.
Jay, I think it would be worth it to risk death to grow your beard.
I mean, I don't want to get us shut down, but there's a certain unnamed virus that may have came out of the Far East that was, gain of function researched, possibly paid for by the United States of America. I'm not really that worried about that myself. I just don't like being sick. I was sick for 3 days this week, which is why I didn't put out a lot of videos, and I was miserable the entire time. I had to go home.
Did you call out sick or did you still go to work?
I went to work one day and then I walked downstairs and I go to my boss. I go, I'm going home. And he goes, what's wrong? And then he looked at me and he goes, oh, you look like shit, dude. He's like, yeah, get out of here.
Yeah, but if you're working around like patients and stuff, I would, if you're sick, you should probably go home.
No, I did. And I went home and I slept. And then the next day I worked the whole day and I was mostly just exhausted from being sick for the 2 days before. By Friday, I was pretty much okay.
Yeah, well, so now that you're healthy, we can expect like at least 2 videos a day from you.
I'm going to try to do that. But what you guys have to understand is I did something that I shouldn't have done today. And that is I bought Fallout New Vegas. So I realized it's a whole game, but it's going to probably take up a lot of my time.
Jay, your fans are counting on you. How could you enjoy your personal time? You need to make YouTube videos.
My fans need to realize that I also enjoy shooting Raiders in the face.
I need to like take a break. I mean, there's going to be a time where I probably do like 2 or 3 videos a week. Because I re-downloaded Skyrim on my Xbox, and I got a brand new TV in my bedroom. I mounted it on the wall. I'm like, I can go play Skyrim in here. It's going to be great. I haven't played it freaking once because I've been making YouTube videos, I've been working, and I've been tutoring. That's all I freaking do. I haven't had one chance to enjoy myself.
Well, here is the good thing about kids, man. It's like there's going to come a day when your kid's old enough to play that you can kind of just pop in the room and live vicariously through them. Like, what are you doing, man? Where are you? Oh, this is the Elder Scrolls 7, Dad. Like,
no, it'll still be Skyrim, like remastered times 10.
Yeah, it'll be Skyrim. I'm playing Skyrim remastered for the 17th time. You're like, we're both
grandkids. Hey, Grandpa, have you heard of Skyrim?
you're like, yeah, I've been waiting for the Elder Scrolls sequel since 2011.
I mean, it is a good game. Like, some good games just last forever. Like StarCraft, Brood War, people are still playing that now. There's just, I don't know. Maybe there never will be a new Elder Scrolls.
Skyrim's one of the greatest video games of all time. So is Red Dead Redemption. That doesn't mean that I didn't want a sequel to Red Dead Redemption that was equally good called Red Dead Redemption 2 or, The Witcher. Like, okay, great. That was a great game, man. Give me a new game. I need to sneak around in the wilderness cutting people's heads off, or I default to a stealth archer every time. I go, yeah, I'm going to play as a magician this time. Nope, stealth archer.
I'm actually, I think somebody's in my house getting stalked. Anyway, no, so I mostly play stealth archers, but sometimes I end up I actually like magic. And hopefully it's really good in the next Elder Scrolls game too. And I also like a 2-hand sword because I imagine myself, if I was like a medieval knight or warrior, I'd probably carry around a claymore. That's what I would do. So I actually kind of love just going around and just slicing people with a massive freaking sword.
Okay. I'm not disagreeing with that. What I played mostly on there was I do the one-handed, so I like to use an axe and a shield because I just imagine myself as a badass Viking, but also a stealth archer. So that's what I max out. But you know what? You know what I did?
Stealth archer.
You know what I did do though? Did
you find the truck stop in Skyrim?
Yes. But no, you know what I end up doing? Because at a certain point, man, your weapons get so powerful, you're just like one-shotting everything. So what I did to alleviate that, and this is what I use at really high levels for hand-to-hand fighting, I go and I find a woodcutter's axe, and then I enchant it. And so then I just run around with a woodcutter's axe, just killing people.
You gave me pumped. I need to go play Skyrim again. I'm just going to quit my job. I'm going to quit tutoring. I'm going to quit YouTube. I'm just going to sit around and just use up all my money for the next 10 years while I play Skyrim.
Then what are you going to do after that? You'll have to go back to work.
I guess I'll have to go back to work. Maybe I'll keep filing for disability from the government. So eventually, maybe I'll be good by that point.
Maybe. Just keep going to guard. Ran on that ankle. That's another 20%.
You know what's funny is I went to this army training in 2 years ago, and it was just a month long, and I was running, and I literally broke part of my foot. I broke some bones in my foot running, and I went to the doctor on the base, and I got medical documentation, and I submitted it. They gave me 0%. So,
but bro, that's a good thing. Surprisingly enough, you've got a percentage. So that means
I'm not getting paid, Jay.
I know. But what you need to do is keep following up with a doctor, and you need to keep refiling. But the fact that you got a 0 rating means the government acknowledges that this happened to you and that it's affecting your life. So what they could have done, the one you didn't want, is just to be rejected. It's not ideally the best situation you got there, but it's better than what the scenario could have been. Because you need to expect to file for something 3 times before you get it. This is what an old Vietnam vet said to me. And this is what I tell everybody because I have a lawyer and I give the guys out. And then they'll go a couple months later, I haven't heard anything from my lawyer. I go, yeah, do you remember the part where I told you to go fishing after you file? They're like, yeah. I go, good. Talk to me in a year. So it's not bad. Listen, when you go to get out or retire, we'll talk. We'll have a long talk. I can explain this entire thing. We'll do it offline.
I need some disability. I need some disability knowledge.
Dude, we'll do it off air. And
I'll do it right now. Let me tell you my entire medical history.
Yeah. So they got it on file that I was molested by my uncle when I was 6.
I've got ED.
But no. Yeah, I know basically the tricks because it took me 10 years to get where I am. And that was talking to I had a lot of help from old Vietnam veterans. And the number one thing they would say to me is go fishing. That's what universally, 4 different Vietnam vets, they said, you file and you go fishing.
File and go fishing.
Meaning, don't worry about it. You're not seeing anything back for 6 months to a year at minimum.
That's the VA, dude. I know a lot of you Democrats love the government, but it's pretty freaking garbage and slow, inefficient. It takes forever to do anything.
I don't actually understand what happened to the Democratic Party. Because if you go back 20 years ago, that was the party that was they didn't really want the government involved in their life either.
Yeah, but they just developed more socialist aspects, probably because of increasing inequality, stuff like that.
Yeah, but this is the thing that when people talk about the inequality thing, I'm like, okay, let's do a simple exercise. I'm going to take you to whatever country with crushing poverty. Let's just throw out Bangladesh or Pakistan, where a guy who's Pakistan, where a guy's job is, to empty out the storm drains by hand. So he's swimming in basically open sewage. I'm going to take you there. We're going to look at the crushing poverty there. Then I'm going to take you to our homeless in America. And then I want you to notice what the homeless are doing besides being passed out on drugs. Oh, did you see this on Twitter, dude? This celebrity just tweeted, like, oh, the crushing poverty. Like, you have a cell phone. Why are you poor? I don't want to work.
Well, I mean, poverty's relative, man. That's why there's always going to be socialism and, Democrat-minded people, because it's always like, no matter how wealthy the society is, there's always going to be people that are less wealthy, and that's how people compare themselves. So it's just kind of hard to eradicate that.
I agree. Like, I think that equality of outcomes is tyranny, and I think inequality of outcomes is just. People don't put in the same effort.
At the end of the day, like, the news makes it seem like, oh, it's, the march of progress is moving forward, and before you know it, we'll have communism. It's not going to happen. It's a freaking
no, but I know that, but like, there's this attitude where it's like, look, man, I'm an amateur stand-up comedian. That's not very good. I don't deserve to make the same amount of money as insert comedian, Bill Burr or Joe Rogan, whoever. They've built up an audience over years of doing it and honing their craft. So thus, it would be unjust for me to make the same amount of money as them.
I think you do deserve money, Jay, for your comedy. I think it should be. I mean,
not at this
make
point.
Me laugh. The truck stop.
Dude, at this point, I don't deserve to be paid for it. Like, there's a long hill you got to go over, and there's even some professional working comedians where I'm like, they don't deserve to get paid for the money for the job that they're doing up there.
I mean, it's not what you think you deserve; it's what people are going to pay. I mean, it's as simple as that. You'd be surprised at the dumb crap people will pay for.
Yeah, like Amy Schumer's comedy.
It's nuts. Like, people will pay for anything, as long as they, like you as a person, or they're told to like you.
They'll pay to go listen to Amy Schumer go, I'm a drunk slut for 45 minutes. That's the gist of her comedy. It might have changed now that she had a kid, but probably somewhere in there she'll include about how she used to be a drunk slut somewhere in the 45 minutes of comedy.
And I have personally bought all of Amy Schumer's exclusive content. I've spent thousands of dollars on Amy Schumer's comedy.
Yeah.
It's good. I like hearing the same joke over
and
over again.
The fool is born every second. Just like right now, there's a guy or a gal with their credit card out, and they're on Meat Spin Kevin's YouTube channel about to drop $700 on a stock course.
That's really a good thought. Like, literally right now, there is someone with their credit card out about to pay Meat frickin' Kevin. That frickin' degenerate, thieving, idiotic, day trading, tax inefficient idiot. Isn't that freaking nuts? Anyway, let me go pee, and then we'll do some comments. I'm sorry.
All right, I got to go to the bathroom too.
All right. Don't go anywhere, everybody. I have a terrible bladder. I'm a very bad like live host, you know. I've always got to go to the bathroom. I always have to get more beer. There's always something. Like I don't know how those guys they sit there for like 3 hours and don't freaking leave. It's madness. Unless you have like a catheter stuck in their peepees.
It's because they have, dude. It's because they're wearing a diaper, like the astronaut chick. No, before we get to the comments, I went and took a piss, and it reminded me of something we have to talk about.
Your piss reminded. Hopefully, it's not. Is it me? My personal life?
No, I'm not. It wasn't about golden showers. Patrick Bet Date, whatever, EBD. God. He was on Rogan's podcast, dude. And I wanted to shoot myself in the side of the head when he started talking about cards. He started talking about like baseball cards and stuff. And like started talking about NFTs and, you know, how these are a new sign of the economy or whatever. These are investments. And Rogan, to his credit, doesn't know anything about this subject. When they were talking about the NFTs, he goes, "What? Wait, what are you talking about?" He's like, "This just sounds like a scam."
Joe, you're just a boomer, bro. You don't understand. I mean, if your gut reaction is it doesn't make sense, it's probably a freaking scam. Just letting y'all know that. Most things in the finance world are scams. I'm just going to put that out there.
This is why I listened to his podcast for a while, but then he slowly started working in financial stuff. I'd be sitting there going, what is this dude talking about? Baseball cards are worth this. I'm like, your baseball cards are not worth anything. I'm sorry, they're not. Well, Mickey Mantle rookie sold for $20 million. Cool. Greater fool theory. You know how much Mickey Mantle's rookie card is worth to me? Nothing. Unless I can sell it to another fool.
NFTs, you know, so yeah. Everybody can make a fortune.
Yeah, but if you were like, okay, honestly, I know that somebody will buy Mickey Mantle's card. I'm being a bit facetious, but in all actuality, what is it really worth to me? Zero. Doesn't.
I mean, you can't calculate what it's worth. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Impossible. Hope everybody understands that by now. If you've been watching us every freaking Saturday, you don't understand that. There's something wrong with you. Get your head checked.
What were you gonna do a video on him about?
His freaking MLM, man. Or whatever he's doing. Like, I don't really know much about it, but like I watched what's his face?
Coffeezilla?
Yeah, and I was like, oh my God, even this guy is a freaking scumbag. And is it like every single person on YouTube is just a total scumbag grifting liar? Can it really be that freaking bad? Because it seems like everywhere I look, every single freaking big YouTube channel has some kind of scumbaggery behind it. Some kind of scumbaggery.
I don't know if I would go so far as to say every big YouTuber, because, you know, Steven Crowder's a pretty big YouTuber.
No, I'm talking about finance, like specifically in the finance realm. It seems like the vast or 95% are like almost pure scumbags. And there might be like a couple good ones that do decent stuff, but it's pretty rare.
In MLM, basically correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know that much about them. An MLM works basically like a Ponzi scheme, right? So I come in under you and I work for you, and then you take a percentage of whatever widget I sell. Then I try to bring in somebody to work under me, and then I take a percentage of that, and it just filters out into like the pyramid, right? That's how an MLM works.
Yeah, that's exactly how it works. It's like basically the lower you are, the later you come in, the less profit you can make, because basically everybody above you is taking a cut, and the higher you are, the bigger the cut you get.
So how is this not a Ponzi scheme then?
It is. Like if you go watch Coffeezilla's video, and I recommend everybody go watch it. That guy's like the vast majority of the people that work in his little stupid thing, whatever he does, I have to go research it. They make almost nothing and there's a very few scumbags that make a ton of money. That's how it works. So whoever
And
gets
then
in
they
early makes all the money.
and then they tell you that you're not making enough money because you're not working hard enough, right? Even though you maxed out your credit cards and worked 80 hours that week, you're somehow not working hard enough.
Exactly. That's why, like, don't ever join a freaking, you know, if they're trying to excite you and pump you up, and there's some kind of, you get approached and you get told about an exciting opportunity that's going to make you wealthy and let you be your own businessman, it's probably BS. I always say just get a freaking skill that people want and just be self-employed. And you'll be much better off than some stupid Ponzi scheme where you're a business person, even though you lose money.
Here's what I don't get when I've watched things on some of these MLMs. I don't understand. So they'll have the boss guy walks up there and everybody is cheering and happy. And I go to myself, am I defective? Because if I was there, I'd be like, yeah, I don't care about that dude.
No, you're actually,
well, that's the boss.
People most people are sheep. It's really true. Like, if you're smart and you're nefarious, you can screw people. You really can.
Oh, bro, you don't know how many times I've had in the military, one of my buddies, I would just say something ridiculous and they're like, bro, you should start a cult. And I'm like, really?
You're like, smart enough, you can do anything you want.
Start a cult. I've been told that like 8 or 9 times in my life where they're like, my one buddy is like, your imagination plus your ability to talk means you could talk people into doing a lot of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but I would feel bad, man, if I told somebody to do something and it hurt them.
Yeah, that's why I hate these YouTubers, because they literally have like no moral foundation. There's nothing there. It's just, I want to make as much money as possible and be as famous as possible. And I don't care if I have to say the dumbest freaking crap. I'm going to do it. And, we always talk about me, Kevin, and Jeremy. You look at the crypto people, they're way worse than those guys. Because they're just straight up garbage.
Tech Lead created that token. He pulled it out of his rear end. And I mean, how many of his fans, what's it trading at now? Are we down to like $15 right now?
We'll check right now, Jay. Million token. I remember I made a video about that. I actually got a ton of views. And it was just constant hate. Now, let me show y'all something. I wish I was monetized when that video came out. I want to show y'all this freaking pump and dump. Hopefully you can see my screen.
Yeah, you can see it.
All right, so you look from the left. It starts here. Massive spike. I called the BS. I was like, this is a pump and dump. And look where it's at now. Obvious pump and dump. But all the freaking lemmings and morons, hey, this guy's going to the moon. You don't know what you're talking about.
Well,
what happened?
Jekoff took down that video. I still have it. Where I did a react. He took down his video where he talked to a guy who was investing a bunch of money into Tech Lead's million.
Yeah, do you have the video? Did you download it?
I didn't download the video. I still have the reaction though, because he took that down, but it's still there. Because if I ever get big enough to where one of those dudes comments, I'm just gonna go, oh, okay, here you go, man. Andre, here you are screwing your fans over. You got something for me?
Dude, I wish I should have downloaded that video, because like one of the videos I am gonna make in the future is gonna be specifically addressing that freaking scam that Andre Jackoff idiot pumped up.
Well, you know what we should start doing? You know what we should start? We should start downloading their videos, right? And then you could just upload it to YouTube so it exists on the cloud. Don't actually let it go public, but then you can do a react video to like whenever very good food or tattooed nutsack implodes and they've taken down their videos and you're like, remember when you guys did these videos? Oh, that's cute. You're pumping more stuff.
Honestly, we can't lose, because if tattooed nutsack crashes, I mean, we've been calling it all along. If it does go up, I mean, at the end of the day, no matter what, it's never worth it to gamble your future on a freaking unprofitable soy boy stock ever. So either way, we're good. You know,
if somebody said to me, if Tattooed Nutsack became the most valuable company in the world, and somebody said, I would probably end up owning it anyways. But if somebody came back to me and they're like, remember all that crap you talked? I'd be like, yeah, let's go look at the financials again. Okay. There's negative increase in cash flow, share dilution. Like Uncle Paul says, if you buy 100 of these, you're going to lose money on 98 of them. And this is the error I would rather make. And I point this out. The reason why my Excel sheet is set up so conservative is because I would rather just not buy something because I don't lose money than buy something and then it goes down. Oh, well, you could have got it on Amazon at whatever. Don't care. Couldn't have predicted where it was going to go. I can only go by the information I currently have at hand. That's it.
I mean, Paul's best point is he always says, okay, Amazon crashed like 90%. And then it stayed at a certain level, like super low for years, maybe even a decade before it went up again. Nobody would have held that long. Nobody. That's a good point because all these clowns that are like, oh, this is a long-term investment that I'm buying right now. I'm going to hold this forever. Bull crap. As soon as it is for a day, you're going to sell it like an idiot.
I think you might have, though, had you just done the proper homework. You would have said,
dude, think about 10 years of your life. I mean, maybe you and I would, maybe, but think about the average impatient person.
No, the average person would.
10 years.
I'm talking about a dude that does his due diligence and he comes back and he goes, why isn't Amazon going up? And he's like, okay, free cash flow is increasing. We're not saddled down by debt. Revenue is increasing. I'm looking through the financial statements. I can't see a reason why. If you were doing all that homework, I think you might have held on to Amazon.
Yeah, I mean, if you truly believe and understand the whole cash flow value concept, sure, maybe you could have, but
and especially if it was like 2% of your portfolio, anyways.
Oh yeah,
somebody was looking at you like, "Oh, you're still holding on to that Amazon?" Like, dude, I got confidence in the company. It's only
if Baba stayed down for 10 years and it kept growing like I projected, I would not sell it. I would keep holding it.
If what did that?
If Baba.
Yeah, but I mean, there'll come a point where I'll sell Baba, and it'll probably. I said this before on last week. If Baba's PE ratio, like it got ridiculous, like Baba had a 100 price to earnings ratio, I'd sell it. I'd take my profit.
I'm saying if it like stayed, at this super low level, going forward for a couple of years, I would probably keep buying it incrementally. Like I would not sell it because I'm 100% convinced that stock is going to be freaking huge sometime in the future. It could be 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. I'll wait. I have to.
That's why I really want to talk to those guys that you had on. I like what they were saying about Baba because they have a different opinion than I do. So like, I don't get mad at people if you have a different opinion. I want to know why you think that. But one of the things that they said, like, look, I know that when you own Baba, you own a holding company that owns a holding company that owns Baba. I get all that. But when you talk about, well, what if, China does this, that, and this? China does not want to kill Baba. Okay? They know that it would be the end of their company if they just screwed over every single Western investor.
Of course. They have nothing to lose. I mean, they even admitted that in the video. They have nothing to lose by taking U.S. money and not giving up ownership. So the real risk is that Western governments clamp down on these ADRs, these shell companies, which I don't think, especially with lobbying, if investors have a lot of money to lose on these companies, you think they're going to let the freaking politicians, delist these stocks? I think it's way overblown, way, way, way overblown.
Well, yeah, I do too, and that's the thing I would say to them. And then if they were like, "Well, this, that, and this," I go, "Bro, I'm going to be honest with you. I've made up my mind, and it's like 2% of my portfolio."
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like we're not putting our life savings into Alibaba. I mean, yeah, we even if we 5x, we're not going to be millionaires from
Well,
Alibaba.
that's why Kevin is such a moron when he goes, "Tesla ballooned to 50% of my holdings." I go, "Okay, if Baba ballooned to 50% of my holdings, I would liquidate 48% of it."
Well, that just shows how dumb he is. It's like, dude, you made your money. Sell now. What are you doing? But they're
I
so
don't want,
dumb. They think it's going to keep doing that in the future.
but that's how I know they're dumb. They keep holding. And I'm like, when is this cavalcade of morons going to go away? When, like, I know that the bite is coming. I know it's coming, but I just don't know when. And I
Dude, it could be
can't,
years.
yeah, I don't care if I have to wait years. I can't wait.
Years.
I can't wait to see the look on Meat Spin Kevin's face when he's like,
He freaks out when the market drops like 1.5%. Can you imagine if it went down by like 50% or if Tesla went down by like 90%? Oh, that would be glorious. Woo!
I really do think that Tesla is probably going to drop to somewhere in the 30s or 40s and possibly lower.
Tesla is so stupid. It's just like laugh. I think everybody, like all the people that actually understand investing, they know how freaking dumb it is. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time.
So the other night, I was sitting here and I was just thinking, and I was thinking about Elon Musk and Tesla. And I was like,
Naked.
yeah, naked with a couple of tissues by my side. No, but I was sitting there and I was thinking, and I was just watching some videos on Musk. And I'm like, something is setting my radar off. I don't know what it is. Something is just bothering me about this guy, where it just seems to me that you're just smart enough to talk to people about a lot of stuff they don't understand. But the whole cult of Elon Musk has got to, your image of Iron Man, the super genius who can figure out time overnight and create an Iron Man suit, does not exist. Nobody is that smart. Yet people seem to think Elon Musk is as smart as Tony Stark. And there's a lot of things that are just not adding up to me. And a lot of it is becoming the distractions that he puts out. I'm selling short shorts. I'm selling not a flamethrower. Look at my robot. These to me all seem to be sleight of hands.
He's a scumbag. I mean, he's really done great things, but he's also done some really shady crap too. Like part of me likes him, part of me freaking hates him. Especially with the robot. Literally, you put a guy in a freaking stupid suit and he dances on the stage, and all your fan base thinks that you're going to conquer the world with a AI robot army. Like, come on. That's
it's a sleight of hand thing, unless tomorrow, Tesla robots are marching through the street and they're like, "You are all now under the control of Tesla."
That anything's possible, Jay. I'm not so sure about that one.
Yeah, no, I know. I agree with you on that, but it's
they all dance.
the more I listen to him talk though at events, I go, oh, again, I don't know if it's just me because I have a propensity for not being easily led. It's like, for me, are we in an emergency? Okay, are bullets flying? No, okay, they're not. I don't need a leader. But it seems to me there's a lot of people out there that are sucked into the cult of Elon. And I'm like, the longer this goes on, the worse it gets when I'm looking at it from the outside.
It's a pure cult, man. It is going to be so funny to see people like Chicken Genius get annihilated, to see freaking solving the money problem, just be selling his butt down at the truck stop. I can't wait. You just have to be patient, man. It's going to take time because, like, When Tesla, dude, when their deliveries come out, or I guess they already did, people are like, oh my God, they beat deliveries. It's like, okay, they're still delivering a fraction of even the smallest market cap car company. Just because they blew out deliveries doesn't mean that the stock should be worth 10 times as much as Ford. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, obviously, but then it comes down to I'm like, I don't think you guys are understanding the advantage that legacy automakers actually have over Tesla. I was listening to maybe it was it you that did a react video? I think it was to yeah, it was you. It was your video where you did a react to solving the money problem, and the stuff that the guy was saying in there where I'm like, this dude doesn't have a basic understanding of artificial intelligence or any of this.
Yeah, I don't claim I do either, but it's like you're telling me in like 3 years that they're gonna have robo taxis.
I'm not an expert on any of this, and I will go out of my way to point that out. But I have read Ray Kurzweil's books and watched a bunch of his videos, and I also listened to Lex Friedman, who is an artificial intelligence researcher. And all of these guys are basically saying the same thing. You're not going to have your idea of self-driving cars in 4 years.
Yeah, and you know the Tesla robot, their claim is they're going to put the self-driving thing, the device, the computer inside the robot. And that's how the robot's going to be able to get around. It's like, okay, a car's self-driving computer is going to help the Tesla robot perform basic functions of life. I don't understand.
Yeah, so the lay people that are in the cult, they listen to that and then they extrapolate their own meaning to it. Instead of like, I don't think the average person comprehends what a difficult task it is to program a robot to stand on one leg and touch its nose.
Dude, Tesla's taking over Boston Dynamics or whatever it's called.
Is
Haven't they been making robots for like?
Did Tesla buy Boston Dynamics?
No. I'm saying like their technology is going to their technology is better than Boston Dynamics, which basically probably does robots full time, don't they?
Yeah, they do. And I mean, so I don't know. Let's do some comments because I don't want people.
Yeah, it's about closing time.
We got like 14 minutes left.
It's closing time. Let's see. God. No, he bought Strongman's dirty novel. I actually do have a dirty novel, ladies and gentlemen. It's only $1,000.
It's only $100. You consulted with Jeremy on his book.
Hey, yeah, Jeremy's book, $100. If I ever make bank off YouTube, I'm gonna buy his book just so I can freaking review it. I bet you there's some freaking gold mines in there. My mom is too paranoid to invest money. She has like $350K in cash. I mean, it depends on her age, and if she has some stocks, maybe that's okay. But yeah, it seems like a lot.
If I was her, I would put about 325 of that in the total world stock market.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on her age. Like if she's like 80, okay, you need like a couple years of cash. The worst people are the people who get stocks from the company they work at, and they never sell it because the company they love. I agree. I think you're an idiot if you work at a company and like all your stocks are in that company's stock. You're smoking freaking crack,
dude. This just came to me. How funny would it be to do a skit where like you and I are outside of the Enron building and we're getting interviewed? They're like, so Enron stock just tumbled. How has that affected your retirement? It didn't. I looked at Enron's financials and I knew this place was scamming. So I sold all my stock and I bought Total World Index Fund.
Yeah, but isn't that boring? I mean,
like you could be the reporter, like, but isn't that boring? Like,
aren't you bored? Yeah, aren't you bored being rich? It's just stupid. Dude, she give you dome in the dome home. You want some dome in the dome home?
Yes.
Liberal girls have loose V's. That is true. That is very true. How do you guys know each other? We met down at the truck stop. Jay was a sailor. I was down at the docks. It just happened. Did you find a Tesla video I did where I was some stupid video? I was 1500 PE ratio. Yeah.
You did I think it was a Tesla video where you were mocking them. And I think I had just started doing videos, and I did one where I'm like, Tesla's so massively over. And then we started doing this.
But I actually like the doc story better. It's more intriguing. Okay, tell your mom to buy VT. Okay, that's good. Silver, no. And gold, no. These are the don't buy commodities.
If you want to buy commodities, it's not the worst way to go. Just wait till they cycle and buy a company.
Yeah, but if you want to buy a gold miner, okay, at least that's a company that produces cash. Oh, Jesus. I got gas. I'm like a baby. But, buying commodities, I don't like them. It's almost like buying Bitcoin. It's not as bad, but, it's a freaking...
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's on the level of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's fundamentally worthless, and silver and gold have uses.
Yeah, but I'd rather own a company that, makes stuff and does services for people that provides value. Newly exposed to you guys, I die laughing about the Jeremy vids. It's so needed. The guy literally said he doesn't even look at cash flows analyzing a company. Of course he doesn't. He literally is a gambling freaking degenerate idiot. I hate him.
Dude, I stand by. I was looking at him. With the shark eyes comment. I was like, this dude, when I look at his eyes, man, when he on his video, I'm like, this guy, go and type in Kodiak Grizzly. It's a pure emotionless eating machine. And then look at its eyes and think that Jeremy is a pure emotional, your money eating machine. He doesn't care. There's just...
He wants to be a billionaire. That's all that matters. Nothing will stop him. He's not going to be a billionaire because he's a freaking moron. He provides nothing of true value or uniqueness. But, he is, single-mindedly focused on extracting as much money as he possibly can. Because obviously, yeah, he's made it. He's got millions of dollars. He wants more. It's never enough. He wants to be a big freaking thing.
Well, you want to know obviously you know how he's dumb, but one of the things that can indicate, he's not really putting his money where his mouth is. If I was in his position, I'd be saving money rapidly, because I would be like, okay, I need to use this money to get myself in a position so I have a large enough portfolio that I don't ever need to do crap again. And then I'll keep going, buy some stuff with money after that. But if you listen to him, I bought this house in Arizona and it's an investment property. Oh, so you bought a house during an expensive time to buy a house and it's an investment now? That's not how that works.
Yeah, you buy something and then you sell it, bro. It's an investment. The cash flows don't matter, Jay. Jesus Christ. True wealth is like Jay said, having enough wealth or money saved where you never have to work again. So once you get there, once you achieve that, then the world's your oyster. Then you can do whatever you want. But until you get there, you can't waste your money being stupid and buying, idiotic houses. Look how rich I am. She doesn't listen. She gives her money, manager more free money. That's most Americans, bro. Most Americans give their money to financial advisors. Well, be sure to thank her for paying the inflation tax that I am benefiting from by buying on margin. Are you a madman? Especially in this market, I would not be buying on margin.
No.
Jesus Christ. People are freaking nuts. After watching Meat Spin Kevin's new video, I think Tesla will go to 3,000. They have $1 trillion in revenue. 25%. Is that bottom line profit? Profit.
Did he say that, or are you just making that up to be silly?
You know what I'm really excited for when Tesla releases their next quarterly financial statements, or balance sheets, as Jeremy calls them. He's a CPA. He knows everything. I can't wait to see what percentage of revenue that Tesla's automotive sales are, because if it stays the same, they're still a car company. They're not a tech company like people are saying they are. That's the only thing I look
They're
for.
not going to be anything but a car company. 86% of their money, 85, comes from cars. Like, I mean, it's like, I don't know, dude. If 85% of the time you're dating dudes and 15% of the time you're dating chicks, you're gay. Like, no, I'm bisexual. 85% of the time you're dating dudes.
Well, what if it was 1% dudes, 99% chicks?
You're still gay. But
oh, I guess I'm gay then. No, I'm just kidding.
but what I'm saying, yeah, is
Woo. All right, anyway. Yeah, we have high inflation. It might even get hyperinflation. We're not going to have hyperinflation. People buying on margin get free stocks, people holding cash. Dude, you don't need to trade on margin, okay? If we're in like a massively overvalued market and then stocks correct, you're going to get freaking margin called and annihilated, okay? You don't want to trade on margin.
the only time I would ever tell somebody that they can trade on margin is if we just had like a historic crash, right? And then they waited and they saw like, okay, so we seem to have flatlined. I'd be like, yeah, man, if you want to do a little bit of margin, that's fine. But ultimately, remember, man, you're taking on debt.
It's, yeah. I mean, even if it seems tempting, to me, it's just too much. Like, I don't like taking that much risk. I got the claps. Thank you for letting us know. Yeah, people pay for Kevin's courses. A fool and his money are soon parted. That is very true. Every time I sell a book on every time I sell Stop Being a Broke Loser, that's what I think. It's like, oh, a fool just bought my book. They could have spent money on me, Kevin's amazing course, but they bought my, personal finance book. Amy's OnlyFans? No. Jay Nagy, come to Hellhole, Belgium when you start drinking again. We can talk stocks over great beers. Not that soy boy beer you drink otherwise. What about me, Lars? Can I not come
I
to
will
Belgium?
do, dude. Well, dude, I've Bruges has always been on, like, after I watched the movie In Bruges, I was like, there's a city like that in Belgium. I need to go there.
Yeah, I got nothing against Belgium, but like, I don't know much about it. Like, what's the cultural, like, unique cultural aspect of Belgium? You know, you got
Jean-Claude
Germany.
Van Damme.
Yeah. I mean, like, everybody knows about Germany and this, Lederhosen, and France and the berets and Eiffel Tower. Like, what's Belgium's thing? Educate us, Lars. Beta male. That's me. Equality of opportunity only makes sense if you think that's the default, if there are no artificial constraints. Either way, justice is simply the freedom from artificial constraints, not equality. What do you think about that, Jay?
Makes sense.
Yep. As long as you're not a communist, we're fine. I'm going all in on Beanie Babies.
Dude, you be retired next week, going all in on Beanie Babies.
Honestly, like, I've always said buy VT. That was dumb. I apologize. You need to just go buy Beanie Babies. I know your preference is world index funds, but what's your take on market ETFs like SPY? I mean, SPY is inside of VT. VT is like the master fund. And then inside VT is other funds. Just think of it that way. But SPY by itself, no, I don't think that's a good idea. I think you're too concentrated in one country.
I would say, the only thing I would say to that is it's better than buying a bunch of just crappy individual stocks.
Oh, 100%. But, I mean, if that's your whole portfolio is the SPY.
Yeah, if you're gonna add in an index fund, like you changed my mind. I had total U.S. stock market, and you're like, dude, you should just do the total world. And then it was like, yeah, that does make more sense.
I should have charged you.
I should have. But what I was going to say is, I mean, if you want to add like something like a little bit more concentration to your portfolio, why not add in the Vanguard REIT into your tax advantaged account? Or like I have the Vanguard Healthcare Fund, and that's been excellent to me. Just add a supplement index fund if you want to do that. I don't get why you would own the total world and throw SPY in there too. To me, that's just redundant.
Yeah, good point. All right, we're actually at the 2-hour mark, so that's basically it. Sorry, guys. There's like 1,000 more comments.
Yeah. Belgium is basically France and German culture put together. Yeah,
Okay.
I love Europe, man. The only thing I don't like about Europe is your gun laws, but other than that, I love Europe.
Cardano 10X. Yeah, 100%, guys. Cardano. Of course, you're welcome, Strongman. Our culture is getting taxed. I think you would like it. Thanks, Lars. I felt left out when you didn't invite me, but that's okay. That's okay. If you buy my book, I'll feel better about it.
All right.
Anyway, all right.
Because I got to take a piss anyways.
Yep. All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Make sure you like the video. I know it's hard.
Subscribe to me. And
subscribe to Jay.
We'll be back next week. We'll see if those dudes want to do next Saturday.
Yeah, I'll shoot him an email.
All right, brother.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
All right, man. See you.
Cheers.